Young North Jersey Environmental Innovator Award, Amanda Nesheiwat, Environmental Coordinator, Town of Secaucus, an exemplary activist, entrepreneur, and innovator protecting the environment from Bergen Grassroots. Amanda, congratulations. Now she has to earn her keep because we get to hear all the things that both Jackie was telling us about her and then her township administrator was, and make it come alive. And I've listened to this lady before. You're in for a treat. Jackie, we'll put that back up here. Okay. But it's yours now, not ours.
First, thank you so much, Bergen Grassroots, for recognizing me in this way and for awarding me in this way. Bergen Grassroots does amazing work, and in such a grassroots way. I wouldn't be where I am in my career if I didn't initially have the experience and training in grassroots organizing, so thank you for all your work. Thank you to Jacqueline for nominating me. It means a lot coming from a very activist-driven woman. Thank you very much. Thank you to my mom and my dad, who are always supporting me. Thank you for everything, and and David Drummeller, thank you so much for coming, and all of my friends and mentors who are here tonight who always support me, and I can always depend on. Okay, that's okay, that's fine. I just wanted to give a little bit of a background about what I do and what I'm doing now. My name is Amanda, and I work as the environmental coordinator for the town of Secaucus. I've been there for 5 years. I'm also the chair of their environmental committee and a commissioner for the municipal utility authority there.
Municipal
utility authority. Good. Yes. I have a bachelor's degree in environmental science, and at some point I decided to drop my major. I was going to be an orthodontist, actually. I thought braces were the coolest thing. I dropped my major and decided that environmental issues were very grave and I needed to work on them. I felt a responsibility to work on them. During that time, I was a campus organizer at Bergen Community College. I was working in Bergen County a lot as an activist, and I decided, well, why not just go back to Hudson County to my mayor and talk to him about volunteering for the town and working there. And so that's how it all happened, basically. They hired me part-time and then full-time after. I showed them that it's very important to have someone working on sustainability in their community. I have a lot of hobbies. I sail. I've been to 15 different islands doing preliminary environmental impact assessments. But I'm also a UN representative for a foundation that works on post-conflict development. And so the really cool thing is that I get to do the sustainability work on the local level and then share it on an international platform to show everyone in the world what Secaucus is doing and what youth are doing in New Jersey. Okay?
Right.
Yes. So the UN cares about sustainability, and so does Secaucus, and why should all of you, right? Why be a sustainable community? Well, I think a lot of the reason why is because, the mayor and council really cares about creating a sense of community in town. Most of the projects that we do encourage intergenerational support. Community gardens, for instance, attract the senior garden club and also the toddlers in kindergarten and also the middle school and high school students. Another reason why, as you heard David Drummeller say, the savings. We're saving millions of dollars a year, and I'm going to break it down for you so you all know exactly how to do that. Also, the potential for possibilities in your community. One size does not fit all in sustainability. Everything, the things that we do in Secaucus cannot really be replicated as much in Jersey City. But there are things that you can do to reduce your carbon footprint and to increase awareness in your community. Also, there's a lot of funding out there for projects that you want to do in your community, which I'm going to talk about. Grants with the state and also with Sustainable Jersey. Becoming more self-sustaining. A lot of us are hearing about community resiliency, right? Especially after Hurricane Sandy. Well, that goes hand in hand with sustainability. In order to mitigate climate impacts, we're going to have to reduce our carbon footprint and focus on permeable surfaces.
I think it would be good if you define what you mean by sustainability and resiliency. Okay. Because I don't think everybody is familiar with that. Okay.
Well, sustainability essentially is a balance between people, the planet, and our economy. Okay, and so right now we're not seeing the triple bottom line, used in companies and corporations, and that's creating havoc in the environment. Is that answer your question?
That's on
Okay.
sustainability. What about resiliency?
Okay, resiliency. Thank you. Resiliency means creating a community that has less impact. That is less. Creating a community where climate change will have less of an impact on it. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, and sustainability is the future. It is very, very important to understand that the new social movement that is here will affect your community, okay? So usually with every new social movement we see the higher education community adopting it first. Every single college community, every single college in the state of New Jersey has a sustainability curriculum. It has someone working on sustainability issues on campus, and some even have environmental or sustainability centers. So that's going to be spilling into your community soon, so that's a heads up. Sustainability is very, very important to people. Also, I want to explain that the millennial generation, in particular, I feel like I need to address that because I'm a millennial, is going to be impacting our local economy as well as our national economy. Okay, a lot of young people today are saying that we don't. Over half of us actually, are saying we don't want to buy from corporations or companies that violate human rights or are unsustainable in their behavior. We're also saying that we don't want to work for people like that too, and that's why you're seeing millennial being the entrepreneurial generation and creating their own jobs within businesses, within government, or just really awesome businesses in general. And you're going to see that also happen in communities. Millennials do not want to live in a community that doesn't care about sustainability, okay? And that goes to the next point, that caring about sustainability in your community is showing a commitment to the future. A lot of the problems that that exist today is because of the fact that we think very short term and not long term. And so if you are in a community that cares about sustainability, then your residents will understand that you care about the future of the community. Next slide. Thank you. So what are the benefits of being an environmental coordinator? Well, there are many benefits. Here are the ones that I think are most important to all of you. I am a liaison for the town to state and local government agencies. I also advise the mayor and council on sustainability issues. I'll show you a little bit about what we're doing with that. But also I advise the residents. There's a lot of residents that have lots of questions about gardening and about solar projects and about climate change. But also, I also advise the business community. There's a lot of businesses in town that are seeing that we're going green and want to do something about it. They're interested in green roofs. They're interested in energy audits and energy upgrades and reducing their carbon footprint. And I think it's extremely important to have someone working within your local government on these issues with them. Little to no cost. I pay for myself, and I'm going to break it down for you in a little bit. We save a lot of money, and we bring in a lot of money. So it's no cost to the community. And I also it shows a commitment to the future, right? If you hire someone who's very interested in the environment, then it shows that you're committed to the future. I actually skipped one of them, which is one of my favorites. People, especially youth, become more interested in government. We are seeing a surge of young people wanting to work with the environmental department, wanting to work on environmental issues. When I was in the 3rd grade, I didn't really know so much about climate change. I didn't really know so much about pollution. I didn't really know so much about why trees were so important. And now you can sit down and have a full conversation. It's like Bio 101 talking to these kids. They're brilliant. And so I'm really happy to be able to work with youth in my community. Next.
Ready?
So what are we doing in the town? Well, first, I want to mention that we are a silver certified community with Sustainable Jersey. There are 25 communities in the state of New Jersey that have this certification. It's the highest level of sustainable certification for a community. If you want to see all the projects that we're working on right now, this is just a few, you can go on Sustainable Jersey's website and look them up. We've actually completed over 40 different projects to receive this certification, and I'm really happy about it. We have community gardens. We have about 5 in the town of Secaucus right now, and we're expanding that. All the community gardens are either funded by local businesses or by grants that we receive. Community gardens are a great way of getting people to talk to one another. There's so many people that talk about how, they don't know who their neighbors are, or they don't know who lives across the street from them. Well, we actually have a block, Maple Street actually, in town, where they have a group community garden. The entire block works on the garden, and people hang out with one another, they create parties, and it's a lot of fun, so I love seeing that. We also are working on doing more rain gardens in town. We are a flood-prone community, and so we want to try and mitigate that. Solar on most of our municipal buildings, on our town hall, you'll see some pictures in a bit, on our high school, middle school, it's one of the largest high school projects. And we have it on our DPW garage and one of our elementary schools. And the kids love it because there's a little ticker inside in the lobby that shows them how many cars they're taking off the road and how many trees they're saving by having solar on their roofs. We care about the education system in town. We incorporate sustainability in the curriculum. Not only do I work with teachers to do this, but I also go to the school twice a year and do school assemblies to teach the students about, from the first grade up to high school, teach students about, not only about recycling and why it's important and what it's doing for the town and how it's bad to litter and pollution is bad, but also about climate change and environmental issues that are happening and how it's affecting them in their lives and how it's affecting the local economy and their future. And also, of course, careers and sustainability. I'm very much a fan of telling people to just go out and create your own job and change the markets and change the economy that way. We have a very, very rigorous recycling program. We have the highest recycling rate in the county. We recycle about 86% of our trash. Yes, we're hoping one day we could become a zero-waste community. We do that through public education, campaigns, programs, literature, and we show them that it reduces your taxes. And I'll show you that in a minute, how much it reduces their taxes. Protection of natural resources. We actually own over 80 acres of wetlands, and so we really take that very seriously. You will never see any new development happen in town. You'll see new redevelopment. We are working on trying to conserve energy. One of the things we're trying to do is reduce our carbon footprint as much as possible. We're working towards trying to figure out what our carbon footprint is. That takes a couple of years to do. We are looking to make our restaurants in town more green. We have a green restaurant initiative, working with the Meadowlands Commission to do that with the Green Restaurant Association. Believe it or not, the MetLife Stadium is GRA certified, Green Restaurant Association certified. And they heard that we were in this program and wanted to work with us. And so last year, for instance, they did an environmental cleanup with us, and they restored our duck pond, and they made a donation. And we are Tree City USA for the past 21 years. What does that mean? That means we really care about trees. We care about our tree canopy goal. Okay, we understand that it helps us to save energy, and it also helps to increase the quality of living for the residents. Right? Okay, next. Thank you. So here you can see these are solar panels on our town hall in the garage, or on the parking lot. And there is the high school. You can see all that solar on the high school. It looks great. Here's one of our largest community gardens. This community garden is 54 beds. I think it's one of the biggest community gardens in our county. And it was actually provided to us by Secaucus NJ. They saw that we were doing green projects a couple of years ago and said, what can we do? We want to help. And we said, well, you're a luxury apartment complex. People don't have places to garden. Why not help us to start a community garden? So they gave us a plot of land, and they made 54 raised beds for us, which is really neat. I released these applications in mid-February. They're all closed out by mid-March, and I have a waiting list of 8 people. All of my community gardens in the town right now are completely allocated to people. There's none left. So people really, really like the community gardens. That's actually our first community garden to the left there. That's our first community garden. That's the health department and the senior garden club helping us with that. We have 4 smart cars. One I brought today, which is out in the front. Hopefully you saw it on the way in. They are fully electric, and we charge them with we charge them up at the town hall. 30% of that energy comes from solar, which comes from those solar panels at the top. We are working to update our fleet. When we realized that $600 to $800 was spent every month on a single parking enforcement officer car or a police officer car, we realized that we had to do something about that. And so we put up the initial investment to upgrade our fleet with hybrid and fully electric cars to do that. And here is a picture of us recently working with Schneider Electric. It's a company in town. We realized that, and they're actually a green company. They're like top 10 green in the country or something like that. We didn't even know that they were in town until they realized, hey, Secaucus is going green, let's work with you, let's do a cleanup. So now we have several different businesses and corporations in town that want to do cleanups and projects with us, which is really neat. We've never seen that before.
Quick
Yes.
question. How many square miles is Secaucus?
David, do you have that?
5.6.
Very good. Thank you very much.
The administrator still knows a couple things that she doesn't know.
All right.
So we are also working on very cool, innovative, cutting-edge, I think, legislation, okay? So we were one of the first towns in the state of New Jersey to ban fracking and fracking waste. Does everyone know what fracking is? Okay, cool. So we actually wanted to take a stand on that and become a leader in our community, in our state, and say we don't want fracking. We're looking for alternative energy. We also passed a resolution to support the ban on antibiotics in our meat. This was something that wasn't really happening at that time. It was last year. What happens when we pass these resolutions is that it ends up in the news, and then everyone's like, well, what does that mean, and what does that mean to me? So that's why I like when we do this. We also passed a resolution to support the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. As some of you may know, Governor Christie took us out of this initiative. It was a really amazing way to increase our solar markets in New Jersey and to cap our emissions. So we were very supportive of it, and we wanted to keep it. We wanted to help make some changes if there needed to be changes made, but we didn't want to remove ourselves from it. We actually were the first town in New Jersey to ban styrofoam. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's a really big feat, right? But when we did that, a lot of companies were actually very supportive of it. So the first thing that happened was we really wanted to focus on the school system. The school system no longer has styrofoam at all in their cafeterias. Then Outback Steakhouse was the first in the country to go green and switch to an alternative, which was really neat. And then Dunkin' Donuts, for 2 weeks, actually switched their cups to paper until we got a visit from the American Chemistry Council. And if you don't know who the American Chemistry Council is, they are the most powerful petroleum lobbyists in the country. And so they came in several times to threaten the town of Secaucus to remove the ban and to actually get me fired. It didn't work because we stood by our resolution. We think that throwaway items are no more. At some point in history, we didn't have styrofoam. We can live that way again, and it's ridiculous to use a cup for 20 minutes and to throw it away and have it be on our planet for 700 years, only to contaminate it after that. And we have Captain Bill Sheehan and Volunteer of the Year Lynn Kramer here, and they will tell you when they do cleanups in the river, what do you see? Styrofoam clams and styrofoam cups.
That's right. And styrofoam blocks.
And styrofoam blocks, right? I remember that one, yeah. So it was a commitment that we were dedicated to, and especially living next to the river. Any new development that happens in town, any new redevelopment, I should change that happens in town, has to be 30% green. We were noticing that developers were coming into our community, pouring concrete and putting up an apartment building or a house. That does not work anymore, especially in a flood-prone community. We need permeable surfaces. And so we said we needed to have at least 30% of that space to be green, whether it be grass or shrubs or trees. This was something new that we did last year. We are also right now working on banning the use of tropical hardwoods for any municipal projects. So what that means is that none of the projects that we're going to be doing in the future will have wood coming from the rainforest. We understand that tropical rainforests are very, very important to regulate climate change, to regulate global temperatures, and to basically preserve biodiversity. So we wanted to show our commitment to that, and so we did this. Okay, so now you're probably all wondering, well, where does all this money come from, right? So here we go. This is how you save green to go green. Recycling savings. Last year we actually recycled about 158,000 tons of recyclables. That was all pulled out of the waste stream instead of sending that to a landfill. We would have paid, the town of Secaucus and local corporations would have paid $14 million to bury that in a landfill. And so that's why we really care about going green and care about recycling. Every community in the state of New Jersey is eligible to receive grants at the end of the year for their tonnage, their amount of tonnage that they throw away. Just this alone, I pay for myself, okay, obviously. And then at the end of the year, we get a grant. So at the end of the year, we got $158,000 for that. And so that continues our public education literature programs and, you know, stuff like that in town to increase our recycling rate. We care about energy and efficiency. I told you already that we're working on updating our fleet to include hybrid and electric cars, which saves us thousands of dollars a year. Our solar panels save us about $1.3 million over the life of the project. And we actually purchase energy, the town purchases energy, through an electric co-op, which requires at least 30% of the energy to be derived from sustainable sources. And this co-op actually has saved us almost 40% off of our electricity bill. And I don't know if you know this yet, but for the first time in American history, we are seeing more financial investments in alternative energy than we are in fossil fuel energy. And so this is a way that towns can jump on the bandwagon now, because pretty soon it's going to be cheaper. And in some parts of the country, it already is cheaper to get your energy from solar and wind. Next. So I also bring in money through sponsorship for events. Every year, for the past 5 years, we do a green festival. And I started out with a small area in town, working with a $4,000 budget. And this year we had over $38,000 worth of sponsorships from four businesses in town. Why is that happening? Because more people want to learn about how to go green, how families can reduce their energy in their homes, in their households, and corporations and businesses want to be a part of that. You know, people wanting to learn about how to go green, and then businesses have the opportunity to go out and say, hey, this is what we're doing to, you know, do something with the environment or to do something with a social cause, and it's really cool to see that, actually. Grants. I know not everybody in the state of New Jersey can get grants, but there's so many different grants out there, and since I worked for the town of Secaucus, we've brought in over $250,000 worth of grants. That includes tree inventories and community gardens and rain gardens. That includes community forestry management plans and working on waterway access and doing all the really neat things that you're hearing today. Everything comes from grants. And what I really like about the town of Secaucus is that we're attracting a lot of attention because we're not afraid to embrace change, and we're doing it in a very cool, innovative way. So the innovative thinking that we're doing is attracting new partnerships and new businesses to come and work with us. One of the things that recently happened was that the Department of Environmental Protection heard me speaking at an event last year, actually, and saw that we were going green and said, do you want to be part of our pilot program to do a campaign against illegal dumping? And we actually do have illegal dumping in our town, and so the DEP was very interested in working with us. At that same event, the DOT was there, and the DOT came to us and said, do you want to be a part of our pilot program to try and figure out ways that we can get residents to use alternative fuel, to use, you know, better cars and more fuel-efficient cars and electric cars. And that is going to be, you know, they're funding that. It's a $1 million program. Big Belly Solar Compactor, we're working with them to distribute solar compacting garbage bins throughout the town. And we are also working with United Water to do xeriscaping, which is basically a way to do planting and stuff like that without using a lot of plants and without you know, compromising permeable surfaces. So in all, we are saving millions. Next slide.
How much of that has happened since you've gotten there?
Well,
pretty much all of it.
The past 4 years. So yeah, and I've been there for 5 years. Okay. So in all, I'm hoping that some of you may take this back to your communities and replicate some of the projects that we have. I'm hoping that maybe a lot of, if there are government officials here tonight, to take a chance on young people working in their community. I think there's a huge disconnect between young people who want to do something good in their community and local government officials who want to have someone that wants to do something good in their community. And so hopefully that will create a partnership. And yeah, thank you very much. Any questions?